Hello, everybody. Dan DeFederici, Saratoga Report. And I am here with someone who's probably familiar to a lot of you, not necessarily through Saratoga Report, but just through many endeavors. I'm here with Bill Teator, the Executive Director of the Campaign for Saratoga 250, something you're going to be hearing quite a bit about in the coming months and in the coming years, and ideally forever, at least the continuation of it. Bill, how are you doing? A couple of days here into August, and how's your summer going?
Oh, it's great, Dan. Thank you so much for having us. We love what you do at Saratoga Report and love seeing your updates every morning in our inbox. So thanks for including us. And summer's good. It's Saratoga summer. It's the place to be, right? And soon enough, as we'll talk about today, it'll be victory season in Saratoga, September and
Yes.
October.
Yeah. Yes, fall is sneaking right up on us, right? It's the joke is once the Travers comes, it's 15 minutes till Christmas, and the Travers is coming. Listen, let's talk about Saratoga 250 that a lot of people are hearing a lot about, but because it's so involved, I think there's a lot to learn about it. And it's in the future, but it's today. It was yesterday in Schuylerville. There's so much going on with this. Can you help people? And it's exciting. That's the key. I mean, I'm truly exciting. I used the word off camera. I was fired up on a video we'll mention in a minute. Can you explain what Saratoga 250 is all about? What is happening today? What is happening next month? And what is happening 2 years from now?
Absolutely. Well, the simplest thing is the not so simple word semi-quincentennial, which is why we just call it Saratoga 250. It's the 250th year since the battles of Saratoga, which we dubbed America's turning point in our revolution, happened. And so 2027, October 1777, is when that really important turning point of the revolution occurred. And 2027 will be our 250th celebration. But to step back a bit to your broader question, what Saratoga 250 is all about is a collective, community-led effort, starting with the county and its leadership, to their credit, all the way back in 2021, believe it or not, chartered a 250th commission, which is made up of 13, not a coincidence, panelists or commissioners, and led by Lauren Roberts, the county historian, who is also an appointee on the New York State 250 Commission and a tremendous asset to our whole region, truly. She's incredible. She's a great subject matter expert, presenter, educator, and somebody we take all of our leading signals from on content. So the county, through the Board of Supervisors, has invested heavily in this effort, not only through support of nonprofits like ourselves, and we've assembled an incredible founding donor circle of Victory Circle members, Liberty Corps and Patriots Brigade donors, to educate, promote, and preserve this incredibly important revolutionary legacy built around Saratoga's victory way back in 1777.
And you use the word incredibly important, and you pointed to the turning point. And because of this great video, and folks, I posted this video Friday on Saratoga Report. It'll be in today's Saratoga Report as well. I want to repost that. This video, just 4 minutes long, 4.5 minutes long. You got to watch it. It's really good, but it's also really informative. Yes. And the point it makes, I'm going to spoil a little bit of it for you folks. The point it makes is we were losing the war. It was getting ugly. And so Saratoga was beyond a crucial battle. It was America's turning point. If you're a World War II buff, you might liken it to Midway, or because we were losing that war too, and Midway turnaround. Saratoga was the same thing. Had we not won Saratoga, and I'm going to stop my mid-sentence there, Bill, and let you continue why this is so important and why Saratoga was so important.
Well, that's great lead in. And yes, please, by all means, watch that 4.5-minute video. It's been very well received. Our own network of Lauren and county leaders, ourselves, and through our nonprofits show that every chance we can. So not only watch it, but if you're inspired, and Dan, you're an incredible ambassador already. You've definitely responded the way we intended people to respond. Please share it because it does set the stage. Like 1777 in America's Revolution, it's easy for us. It's almost cliche for us to even think of it as a revolution. It was absolutely revolutionary what America's founders had done to declare their independence from, at the time, the most powerful empire on the globe. And in the beginning and through 1777 and what became known in the Northern Campaign, interchangeable with the Saratoga campaign, liberty could have easily been snuffed out. The British had, run us out of New York through Long Island, out of New York Harbor. They didn't know this up here in Saratoga at the time, but they had already moved down with British General Howe to sack our capital, take Philadelphia. This move by the British to come down from Canada to Saratoga, as in really the Albany County area, was the greater capital region as we know it today, was Albany County. Saratoga District was a part of it. But they were also coming down through the St. Lawrence to the Mohawk Valley from the west to the east, and really cutting us off in New England, which they considered the true revolutionary, beginnings, right? The troublemakers, so to speak. If they would have prevailed and cut off, New England, it was very possible that revolution we wouldn't have gotten out of the cradle, essentially. So America's turning point occurred with the victory and the resounding defeat and surrender for the first time of a full British army by General Burgoyne turned the tides. And you look no further than how the diplomat Benjamin Franklin and had been working for years with the French as a rival empire to become allies, and it was Saratoga that clinched it. He'd made years of effort, but that was the clinching win when that news arrived across the shore to the shores in France.
And when you mentioned the battles and stuff, I brought up this photo from your website, folks, a terrific website. Let me put that up there for a second. And you've done so much work already, and you're doing your best to make it interactive, right? Because history presented the wrong way is not going to appeal to a 10-year-old. History presented in the right way will. It won't appear to a 59-year-old, and it does. You're right. I'm so I'm into it already. I'm excited by it. I'm fired up by it, and not just because you got cannons and things like that, but that is important. It seems like you've done a lot to make this real, and you're doing it now. You're not waiting until 2027.
Yes. And that's vital. I mean, this is back to the Saratoga 250 Commission, the county leaders, as well as our campaign for Saratoga 250, supported again by incredible board and incredible stakeholder donors, founding donors. Our goals are clear. They're to educate, promote, and preserve. And we like to call it, with Lauren especially, edutainment, right? Like, how can you make that informative aspect of history engaging and relatable to audiences today? So everything we do in our operations, in collaboration with the county and in collaboration with a broader and growing orbit of similar stakeholder groups that celebrate heritage or commemorate important milestones, we want it to be, yes, educational, but engaging and memorable. So it sticks. Our goals when we educate, promote, and preserve Saratoga's revolutionary legacy is that 50 years from now, those kids, 5 to 15, are going to have a memory of that experience, and they're going to want to impart some of that with their families and their children and our grandchildren down the road. And that really ties back to the legacy of not only the patriots who incredibly won this vital battle and the hallowed ground that we still have to go tour and walk and reflect on out in the eastern part of the county, but the generations after it. Like we say, we're approaching a 250th. That means centuries worth of people in the Saratoga area have commemorated this well enough that we all still want to come back and tell the stories again and make sure they last across the generations.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. There were people before you 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 150, that really laid the groundwork. I mean, for what you're going to do, I think is going to be absolutely terrific and big. But there were people before you, right?
Absolutely. So again, with that legacy to stand on, we aren't starting from zero. And that's the thing that we really want to remind people of. It is that turning point battle that historians for centuries have celebrated as there's a book from like the 1850s that celebrated America's turning point, the victory at Saratoga, as one of the top 15 most consequential battles in all of human history. So for centuries, people have looked at it that way, and we get to stand on that legacy. So for instance, when we're looking at 21st century information age ways to connect with not only youth, but families and folks, who are enthusiasts already. We're trying to make sure it's relatable and fun and engaging and informative in 21st century media. So we're using video clearly, as you already referenced, and there's many more videos on our YouTube channel, just under the handle at Saratoga 250. We're using augmented reality increasingly, which we can come back to, but some of these images behind me demonstrate that. And the live events, you can't replace them. Living historians who are in 18th century kit spend incredible amount of time and passion creating the authentic experiences with their gear, their apparel, their knowledge. So that connects in person at live events. The commission from the county to our nonprofit to the orbit of existing reenactment and living history organizations really do bring this history to life. And that is what's going to resonate, demonstrating the way people live, demonstrating the civilians, women and children were encamped and involved and with the battles. They're military from across multiple nations. People forget you had Germans, Poles, all of the orbit of the British Empire, the Celtic world on both sides. So we're able to bring that to life. But if you go back, I referenced the YouTube channel. That's where that great 4.5-minute video is. But there's incredible videos I'd also commend to people showing what was done in the 100th and the 150th celebrations. You'd be amazed. And Lauren does an incredible job narrating that for us. And I can expand on a couple of them, if you'd like.
Yes, I will. I just want to, you bring up something. I just want to take a slight detour before that. Is one thing that seems to be different about this, and I'm guessing, I don't know this, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that you're working on partnerships with Saratoga area businesses, and there's branding and merchandise and things like that. From a lot of different perspectives. Is that still open? If there are businesses out there, can they reach out to you to talk about things like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really, really glad you raised this. Number one, we aren't all things to all people. And you let off, this is a large scale effort, and it really is meant to be community driven and led with, the legacy that we have to stand on of this incredible victory. With America's 250th coming up next year, next July 4th, that's really just the start, just like it was in the Revolution. The declaration that we were independent didn't cinch it. British didn't just wrap up and go home, right? It was just the start. So our commemorative period goes on and on. And the reason we're branding America's Turning Point is this isn't just the 250th milestone effort by the leadership in the county, by our founding donors at Stewart's, Adirondack Trust, the Champlain Hudson Power Express line, some of our additional community donors, everybody from the Munter Enterprises to Old Bryan Inn to Caruso Builders and on through the Saratoga Casino Hotel. We already have an incredible network and expanding network of founding donors, Ruin Realty, so many community leaders who have real civic engagement are joining the effort because, that is vital to extending this beyond just the 250th milestone. So back to the merchandise or food and beverage collaborations that we're already, demonstrating, they really are that. They're demonstrations of what's possible if we all embrace this heritage destination appeal. We have incredible assets in Saratoga County, Saratoga Springs, obviously, and beyond. Heritage destination gives us another leg of the stool, in addition to the incredible assets at SPAC and NYRA with the track and the Racino. We have this heritage, not even just the revolutionary heritage, but at Grant's Cottage and obviously in Congress Park, reflecting other downtown, eras of history. And then out in the Eastern Park, the Champlain Canal corridor. So we're trying to tie that together to remind people of the incredible heritage destination appeal. And when you travel, wherever we go travel, all of us, right? And we enjoy time with friends or family on a trip, you like to be able to go to, get the burger at the historic place or have a pint, that's hearkening back to the era or in this picture of bourbon, they drank whiskey, rum, beer, cider routinely in that era. So we would love to collaborate with people, and we already are. This was a special release bourbon out of First Fill Spirits right on Washington Street in downtown. We'll be doing these select limited edition barrel picks of, largely New York-based distilled bourbon annually. So these can become kind of a collectible. You're seeing there, we used our augmented reality. You could literally launch on that bourbon bottle label this augmented reality, and there's a rotation of 12 different toasts from 4 figures of Saratoga's revolutionary history that you can listen to and enjoy, and becomes a conversation starter, right? We have a similar thing already underway at Cooperstown Distillery's beverage exchange at Saratoga, right on Broadway, where they already had a theme of the Continental era in the Revolution, but their gin, vodka, and rum right now is a commemorative collection on sale at a great rate for 3 bottles with $10 per pack, going back into our effort to educate, promote, and preserve. And what you're seeing right here from our marketing agency, Happy Brands, is Saucy Sriracha. She's a great content creator. She's in Impressions of Saratoga, another incredibly community-minded business partner already. They have a collection in the store. Obviously, we're all looking to scale that as the commemorative 250th approaches. But they came up with the concept from some of what we provided them and have run with it. Great partners. So there's more the merrier as far as we're concerned, because we're just trying to be catalytic to what good food, beverage, and commercial businesses know how to do, which is create an experience, create an environment for the customers to, have fun and enjoy our region, which has amazing assets. And we want to put the revolutionary assets front and center again.
And that segues me, and I do want to emphasize, because you've emphasized this to me, the foundational importance of appreciating our history, and that people should know it and we should celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am a practical person, and you were segueing in. This is going to have a significant economic impact on the county and the region, correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So that's a huge goal, of course, of all of us, and absolutely of the county leadership, who are not only investing in, Lauren and her team and partnerships like ours to promote and tell these stories in a relatable way and an engaging way, to produce the things we've talked about, video, live events, digital age, augmented reality, but they're investing in physical locations. The goal is to bring people, not to tell the stories exclusively online, right? But you experience history best by putting your feet in the places where it occurred. So a lot of our effort is, meant to tantalize, to hook, to tease, right? That this story is incredible, but you really can only authentically experience when you come and put your feet in the places of history. So we're tying together a lot of not only the federal incredible stewardship of the National Park Service at Saratoga National Historical Park. They have a litany of thousands of acres with hallowed ground, with interpretations at their visitor center, updated interpretations along that incredible 13-mile tour road that you can visit, and just make sure you check their websites for availability and accessibility. The Schuyler House, the Victory Monument that was started to be built, Saratoga Monument, as a 100th anniversary commemoration of the importance of Saratoga. And assets like that exist, of course, but there are also other small nonprofits that have been doing an incredible job, like the Hudson Crossing Park, which celebrates many aspects of our history, including where it is estimated General Burgoyne crossed the Hudson River with that full army and a whole thousands of civilians trailing them to, ultimately end up in this battle. Fort Hardy Park, right in downtown Schuylerville. That's where the regular British grounded their arms, marching between Americans, owning, if you will, what was considered a mockery of Yankee Doodle Dandy. We owned it, to use today's parlance, and they marched between Americans, singing or playing that tune as they had to ground their muskets right there in the middle of Schuylerville. We want to bring those places back to life, interpret them with physical legacy, if you will, signage and event space, as well as augmenting it with digital activation of stories. So again, there's a lot to bring and tie together. But the way we measure it is, number one, with the National Park Service, they do count their visitors, of course. We do know that post-pandemic, was a low point for everybody, a little over 100,000 visitors to that incredible asset in our backyard in 2021. By contrast, in that same year, Morristown, New Jersey, and nothing against it, but just picking a Revolutionary Era heritage area park, had 330,000 visitors. So we have an incredible opportunity for growth. And that is one way we'll measure. We know from the Park Service numbers, they're already up over 120 some thousand as of a couple of years ago. We'll be looking forward to their new numbers, but that's a really great way for us generally, and especially anybody involved in hospitality and destination appeal in our area, to be thinking about it. We have a lot of run room for growth with an amazing set of assets, and then additional nonprofits that have preserved land and preserved places that we want to put people's feet to enjoy Saratoga area heritage.
As a, I've lived here almost 20 years now, and I think I've underappreciated what we have. That's why those words on the video, Saratoga County residents live on sacred ground, it sort of woke me up. And I was almost like a little shamed, perhaps, that I've had very little interaction with both history here in general and in the battlefield and everything out there. I did have a little curiosity. I have seen the monument. I have walked up to it, but just haven't done it enough. And I almost think, to borrow a phrase, I hope you don't groan here, but is this going to be the turning point for the appreciation of what we have here? Is 2027 going to be that point?
Yeah, I think it can be. Again, so many people who are in close, have been preserving and promoting these locations, who we love teaming with and we want to continue to augment. But generally, yeah, we kind of think about it in our own backyard, in our own broader capital region, and then across New York State, truly nationally and even internationally. This has incredible appeal. These conflicts, the debates and the issues that surface in a revolution, like what's happening here with loyalists living next to patriots, are relatable to people from so many different walks of life, so many different areas, that absolutely, if we're packaging and telling this story in the way it should be, because it's authentic, there will be an awakening, so to speak, of, wow, the relatability, the relevance, the importance of this Saratoga history to really America's founding and saving it. We like to say New England started the revolution, Virginia via Yorktown, the ultimate surrender, secured it. Saratoga saved the revolution, truly. And it's a place that people from all those areas, all types of walks of life, should come to experience. And thus it is a huge growth opportunity. Again, it's why we have one of our first private sector partner, Adirondack Trust Company. I mean, as a Victory Circle member, their family and their employees are incredible partners too. And the Wade family loves this history, like many of our other donors, the Dake Foundation at Stewart's. They already appreciate this deeply. We have a chance to tie together, like I referenced with D.A. Collins and Ruin and a lot of the families in our backyard, to tell this story again to a broad universe, that goes well beyond the capital region and attract people here for all those right reasons. We're really fortunate to have what we have, but we have a real opportunity to build on it.
We are blessed here in Saratoga with some great corporate citizens, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Listen, let's do this again in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I'd like to maybe follow up with you on what we talked about the prior celebrations and the people that were involved in that sort of laid the groundwork. And they didn't have computers and things like that, yet they got a lot accomplished. And teed it up for you to come in.
If I could just put one teaser in there for people, sure. We're already going to take your lead and go watch that video. Absolutely. Watch those 150th and 100th commemorative videos, and you'll see what we enjoy today, rooted back to the legacy of those people and those families and those efforts to commemorate. And 100 some odd thousand people were in 1927, we're at that 150th commemoration with no Northway, no digital technology. You know, that's how many people valued this victory at Saratoga. And I just say as well, like we're attracting new supporters from like Bonshank King and the Anderson Financial Group, because we're also producing educational content that can go right into the classroom, right into the homeschool. So you can check out a book called Overhearing History that's online or in impressions and for sale at many places, as well as at our incredible library, because we really are intent about connecting to those children so that this does last another 50 years. You know, that's meant for 4th to 6th graders. So check that out, Overhearing History, right from our website, saratoga250.com, or at our local retailers, Impressions, Northshire, and even in the Friends of the Saratoga Springs Library. Thanks again so much. This is fun. I hope we do get to do it again.
Great, Bill. Thank you. We will do this again soon. And there's so much to talk about. You guys have accomplished a lot already. Thanks for being here today.
You got it. Thank you. Take care.